I'm Jack from thejacksmith.com, and Venom, what the hell happened? So, I wanted to wait a little bit before actually committing to film my reactions to Venom. I originally recorded a version of this outside and on the way home from the cinema I reviewed it at. Here's a little bit of footage. So, Venom, where do we even begin on a film like this? But I wanted to wait and mull my thoughts over a little bit, because this is a film that has big issues at its heart, but on the other hand, the film also has some pretty good bits. I mean, this is a 15 certificate film here in the UK, so you know what you're going to be getting. It's a pretty gory film. You get to see Venom eating people, because that's what the character's like. But I'm going to run through it in direction, writing, plot, cast, any other details. And with the direction, it's Ruben Fleischer in charge, and he knows how to helm a big film like this. He did Gangster Squad a few years back. He's also responsible for a little film called Zombieland. Get the Twinkies, folks. But he's able to deliver a film that, yes, it does take a very long time to get going. The first half hour or so of the film is probably the most boring thing I've sat through so far this year, and this is coming from someone who's seen such works as Show Dogs. But those first 30 minutes or so, it's just exposition. It's just pointless and meaningless. They could have had it done in the first 15. But after that point onwards, once you get the sequences we see Eddie Brock and Venom fused together, this is where the film comes into its own, and that is testament to the performance of Tom Hardy. He, once again, puts in some good work. We expect nothing less from him. But he is kind of let down a little bit by a poor script. It's got some of the worst dialogue I've seen in a film so far this year. It's written by Scott Rosenberg and Jeff Pinkner, who names familiar to Sony's Marvel Universe. But the presence of this last name worried me a lot, because she wrote the 50 Shades of Grey adaptation for the big screen. So when I found out Kelly Marcel was getting a co-writer credit, you could tell I'd be ranting about this film. And I'm kind of glad I am, because the dialogue sucked. It was about as depressing as having to watch your Earl Grey being downed in the space of half an hour, because it did not last long, even with only 2/3 of a cup. Damn you, nondescript coffee machine. But what these scriptwriters have been able to create is a plot that I can understand why it ended up being a 1 hour 53 minute film, because there's a lot they need to get through. This is an origin story, after all, an origin story that's very true to the comics, which I know a lot of fans will be very, very happy about. But I was talking with Mr. Carver, my co-host on the Rip Ticket show, which I co-present every Friday now. I was talking with him about it, and he quite rightly said that it's very difficult to do a Venom film without the presence of Spider-Man in any way, shape or form. And yes, Amy Pascal kind of said that this is being done in a universe adjunct to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I can understand why. It was a bait and switch. She just wanted people to get in, and this is where the film really struggles. The amount of studio interference. Tom Hardy has gone on record and said that his favourite 40 minutes of the film were cut to get the PG-13 in the States, which, as an educated cinema goer, that's quite insulting, because that means they're keeping the good stuff back for home video, just in a cheap attempt to make some money out of us. And we all know how the last film to have such good treatment worked out. That was Batman v Superman, and I hated that film too. And speaking of things I hated about this film, some of the performances. Michelle Williams as Annie, the love interest and kind of expositionary device of the first half hour, she does the best with what she's given, but she does feel like a generic female sexual device that was written in the 1990s. The dialogue and the performance is about as wooden as a piece of IKEA flat pack furniture. The same can be said partly for Riz Ahmed as well. I've seen him in some other really good films. Something like This Is Why I Love Having This. Something like Nightcrawler. Really good film, underrated, go watch it. Something like Nightcrawler, he's much better at that because he's able to give his all. But in this film, he just plays a generic cliched villain whose motivations aren't really clear. It was a film that really ground my gears, and considering that it's opening against A Star Is Born, which is a happy clappy musical, I can understand why it's 28% on Rotten Tomatoes at the minute. It's not the greatest superhero film in the world. If it was made 15 years ago, it would have been much better received. It feels like this could have been made alongside Spider-Man 3 in 2007, and yes, we got a poor depiction of the character in that film. But this I don't even want to call it a film. This shameless cash-in is horrific. My 2.5 star review still stands, and if you haven't read it already, go over to leejacksmith.com and read it, because there isn't much I can say about this film without spoiling it too much. What I can say for those of you who haven't seen the film yet and who are intending to go and watch it, because I do say to everyone, just go out and watch the film yourselves, make your own judgment from there. I'm doing a whole episode of the journal about it. But to those of you who are actually intending to go out and watch this film on the big screen, do stay back. Because if the film does well, which it's probably going to do well, they have put bait in for a sequel. But the reason I want you to stay back is because Sony are going all in on the promotion for the next Marvel-verse film. I don't know what even to call it, the Sony universe, because someone will come up with a name for it eventually. But stay back to the end of the credits, because if you're looking forward to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is the animated film that they're doing this December, you will want to stay back, and that's all I'm going to say. Because there's a pleasant surprise. So that is basically my thoughts on Venom. It's taken me a few days to kind of process it all. If you have seen the film, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. One of the nice things about this YouTube channel is we've kind of harbouring a nice little community of film fans around the country and globally as well. I noticed we've got viewers coming in from all around Europe, so wherever you're watching, welcome along. So if you have seen the film, let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. Also, if you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell icon to stay notified on when we upload. We've got a new episode of the journal coming out very, very soon. It's actually profiling how I took my screening of Venom and turned it into the review that you are reading on the blog right now. But for now, I've been Jack from leejacksmith.com, and that was What the Hell Happened with Venom.